Hey, welcome back, everybody. I know I've got quite a few things out now. Well, all PHP related so far. I want to cover all my bases in the PHP realm before I start really doing little things here and there in HTML and CSS. Yeah. Got my glasses on today because I just sometimes hate messing with contacts. They get too dry and they hurt. Well, hoping this doesn't fall over. It's been kinda, well, off-center lately. Kind of rearranged a few things in here. That's not what's important. What's important is we're going to discuss today session variables and making sure that a particular person or user is in the database by checking the database for those session variables, right? Very helpful. It's a secure login form is what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's a secure login form. And what we're going to do is show the coding to the login form itself. I think I've shown you enough forms to really, for you guys to get the point, there's only two real inputs in this, and that's username and password. Get your username and password. So you can imagine making it look like anything you want to. That way we don't have to sit here and design a form and all that sorts of junk. I know this works because it's taken from a random non-working site of mine that I used to have working, but oh well, doesn't work now. And I never use the same code twice anyway, so I always change my variable names. It's always a good idea to change your variable names, but I think I covered that in my security video for injection prevention, so let's move on. Got an error message, just in case we need it. We do need it. Basically, if you have the wrong login information, it spits out an error and says, hey, that's not the right stuff. And here we go. First part of it is if is set post username and is set post password, the two variables from the form. If they're both set, then you start your session, which if I passed this up, I completely forgot about it. Let's explain this first. That's just to pull the variables. Here is your session to check if your session has started or not. You want to put this on your login page because if you're already logged in and you go to your login page, you might as well just move it to the actual admin page. So basically, it looks for this if is set session, and the session name is manager or admin or big boss person, whatever you want to call it. Session start. Basically, this starts the session, and this checks if the session is started. So you have to start the session regardless if there's a value in it or not, and then you have to check if a specific session name is present. If it is, you'll go to that page that you're not allowed on to normally and exit the script. And if it's not started, it'll just remain on the page and go through this part. So what do we have here? The error message, and of course, if these two items are set, we're going to start our manager. Here's the variables. Yeah. Jumping ahead of myself, got to explain the variables first. Okay, so if these two are set, you will replace it with admin or manager or username or the longest variable name in the world if you really wanted to. I don't know why I'm being so weird today. It's late, but it's always late when I film these things. And like I said, if you've noticed, kind of darker in here, or my face isn't as whitewashed as it usually is. Kind of rearranged my room for future plans, but that's unrelated to this, so let's move on. Okay, so your admin, you want to preg replace, which is a PHP preset to filter your inputs. Basically, your username can be between this and this. You have to start it with this and end it with this, and then this stuff can go in the middle. You always need this little thing for the middle. Only when it's directly followed by this, this, or this. These little two sets, A to Z, or 0 to 9. Sorry, it keeps getting the first or second one before it. Whatever. We don't care. So, but if it's not, say you just wanted to filter off one individual thing, all you'd really need to do is put that thing in there. Like right now, say I want to allow spaces. Boom. I just allowed spaces. Say I want to allow an underscore and spaces. Hey, look. Spaces and underscores. Just in case you're confused. You can allow different variables in this preg replace. So, just in case I haven't covered that, I don't think I have. It's very awesome. The only thing that's really preset is A to Z capital, A to Z lowercase, and 0 through 9 have to be wrote out like this. And little pretense for everything is this and this. So if you only wanted to allow spaces and underscores, and apparently this symbol right here, whatever it is, little caret. I know what it is. I'm just being goofy. Okay, so you only want to allow spaces and underscores. You just do this. Space, underscore. Hey, look at that. It's all you're looking to keep. Everything else will be replaced with... Here we go. Hold on a second. Everything else, after the comma, is replaced with nothing. There's no space in it. See? I can jump from one side to the other, so there's no space. If you put a space in it, it'll replace everything that's not in here with a space. We don't want to do that. We want to replace everything that's not in here with nothing. So you just put this part of it is what you want to replace, or what you don't want to replace, and everything else on this section between these commas is what you're going to replace everything else with. And of course, this is the posted variable username. Hope I explained that pretty well. Yeah, sounds about right. What you want to keep, what you're replacing everything else with, and the variable. Same thing here. We want to preg replace password. We only want to allow A to Z little, and 0 through 9. And this right here is a nifty little trick. And I will tell you this. This is a very secure way to do it. Anybody who says otherwise is using a very simplistic password. Okay? If you use a very simplistic and very common password, this is useless. On the other hand, if you use a very unique and kind of lengthy password, this is fine. It's perfectly fine. It's all you need. So I'm quite convinced the more different things you put in here, like salts and other things that encode the password, the less likely it is to be secure, because after a long enough period of time, I'm pretty sure most of those other manners have already had a reverse... I don't want to say... How do you say that? It's a mathematical term. Basically, they can work it backwards. A reverse equation to figure out exactly what the password is. That's what I want to say, equation. I've been out of school too long. Sorry, guys. So, I'm pretty sure this one, though, This particular one, other than going through and putting every word in the dictionary and every word not in the dictionary into what's called a rainbow table to find out exactly what equals what, you're pretty secure. You really don't have to worry about them doing that, except for with the very easy and very well-used passwords that are easily hacked. So mine are always very unique and kind of lengthy. People hate it when I do that, but it's just more secure. Make a very long password and always write it down somewhere. It just makes it easier for you. Okay, right. So that's that. So basically what this does is, yeah, you're pulling the variable, but you're posting the variable, you're searching the database for its encoded version. So even if they hack your database, all they're going to get is, well, if they've hacked your database, you're already lost. But if somehow they try to pull this value, it gets encoded or is encoded already, and all they get is some 32 character long ramblings of different characters that nobody in the world will understand how it came to be that, because they just made it that way. It's not reversible. They can't make a reverse equation and figure out exactly what this is. They have to go in there and put MD5 and a name in there and hit echo out that variable name, and it'll show them exactly what it is, and then they can put it into a table. And I mean, there's a more automated way to do it, but I'm not even going to bother to figure out the logic on that one for this tutorial. We're just trying to check the session. But yeah, anyway, yeah, so use that to encode the password. Else anybody who echoes out the password can see it in here if they figure out what your variable name is. Like I said, if your variable name is not password, you're good to go. So just for the purposes of this video, I called it password, but everywhere else, don't use password. Name it like some weird name. I don't know. Username. That'll throw them off. Password is username. Username is password. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so moving on. That's checking if they're set. Then they're going to post as the variable and post as the encoded variable. Next, you want to include your connection script because you're about to query the database. Ta-da! Select ID from your admin table where the username equals the variable manager, which is the username from down in the form, and password equals password, as in not the encoded password, just the password. So that lengthy 32-bit encoded password. Limit 1. Then you want to make sure it actually exists. So you do a count to make sure you're getting more than 0. Exist count equals MySQL num rows SQL, which is of course this. So basically it's counting the rows from up here. And then if your exist count equals 1 or equals 1, really equals 1, while it's fetching the rows from here up here, while it's fetching the rows from admin, there you go, that equal this stuff, then print out this variable ID. Alright, then you start your session ID, your session manager, and your session password. And what that is it takes all those variables that you, if they're correct. So if it equals 1, it does this. Otherwise, that information is incorrect. Try again. which you can echo out anywhere inside of your form to have that message at least around there somewhere. Then close your MySQL, right? But if it's right, it starts the session and it goes to the next page, which basically says, hey, if is set get session manager, and then it checks the session manager password and username to make sure they're correct. But we only covered this part, so we just started the session. That way it retains the variables and retains the session. Make sense? I hope it did. I really do. So you got to take all your variables that you have up here, actually right here and right here. So you're taking the variables from the form and the one variable from your database. Got it? One variable from your database and two from your form. And you're overwriting the value manager and password with the ones that you checked it with, manager and password, inside of your database. I think. No, wait. Password equals password. Password equals password. Yeah. So basically, when you go check your session, you're going to also want to make sure that you encoded the session on the admin page with MD5, or else... Oh no, I don't think you do. Never mind. Don't listen to me. This is only for the form to log in. Ignore me. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. And since it's been a while since I've done a login, it's been about a week or so since I've actually programmed a simple login, so I'm a little rusty. Program so much other stuff in the meantime that you have these codes laying around, these chunks laying around. You'll know what I'm talking about in the future once you get all your stuff together. But yeah, so there you go. This is how you start. Let's see if I can stretch it out again. There we go. You know what? It's just code. There we go. Yeah. Ta-da. Whole block. That's how you start your session. And in the next video, I will probably show you how to grab that session, check to make sure it's okay. Or no, it's already checked to make sure it's okay. And then it's headering to the admin page with those sessions started. That's what it's doing. And then all you have to do is just make sure this session has started. So basically this is what you'll do on the next one. If is set manager else, if is not set manager, you'll go back to the login page. Otherwise, you'll just, do what you got to do. Right? Makes sense? So it's backwards from this. Instead of if is set session manager, it'll be if is not set session manager. Then you're going to go back to the login page. Or admin, because all that's going to do is, if it's not set, is throw you back to the login. Right? I don't know. I haven't really checked that side yet, so don't take my word 100% on that one. I get confused sometimes, like anybody else. And it's late. It's late. It's always my excuse, right? It's late. I'm going to bed. I hope you liked this video. I hope it was educational. Likes are appreciated. Subscriptions are nice. And give me some comments. I think I got like one at this point in time. So if you check the date of the video, time it was uploaded, I have one subscriber who chooses not to identify themselves. But comments, suggestions, ideas, all welcome. Yeah. I'm not running out of ideas. I'm not running out of code. Trust me, it's insanely hard to run out of code to show you. The practical applications of every single coding language out there are just so insanely extensive that really, if I tore this down to the most simplistic form, I could show you 101 different ways to use like one little variable. So 1,000 different ways, really. Well, I will see you all later, and hope you enjoyed. Bye.